else would like to address the board? Give your name and address, please.
Tim Murphy, Knoll Road. When you guys are talking about the sidewalk that Tracy brought up, I think it would be a good precedent when you're asking these developers to bring the sidewalk in here. I mean, so it's $6,000. I watched you spend $300,000 to revitalize Brewer. Big deal, $6,000. You need to put sidewalks all the way up and down both sides of this road. You have 30,000 residents, 30,030 or whatever it is. It's time to put the sidewalks in. I think it's unconscionable when you spend all this money for economic development, but you won't put the sidewalk in. That's how I feel. Also, as far as the plans for the trail going up in the Brewery revitalization between Route 11 and Route 31, I think it's about time that you did the right thing and told those neighbors that it was coming. Thank you.
Does anyone else would like to address the board? Give your name and address, please.
Tom Ballou, 6121 Palm Summit. I'd like to also comment a little bit on the sidewalk situation that we discussed this evening. I think we approved, if we didn't adopt, a comprehensive plan in which the town spent $200,000 to indicate they wanted to be more proactive in allowing people to have egress through sidewalks and other means. We have sidewalks on Route 31. We have some snow storage shelves down along Walmart all the way down to Clodnoy, which were developed obviously under permit. But yet, in front of the town hall, we have not decided at this point to put sidewalks in. I think it's of importance, if you want to demonstrate leadership, that you have to be willing to lead and not have other people question why you don't participate when they have to. I applaud the planning board for continuing to put these sidewalks in. A lot of times when we develop subdivisions, we have roads to nowhere, but eventually we connect those roads together. They become roads to somewhere, and they become neighborhoods. Those sidewalks that we describe as to nowhere eventually may give people safe access along Route 11 so they're not walking out in the road endangering their lives. My other question, if I may, I know there's been some discussion regarding perhaps consolidating the tax department or assessor's office with the town of Salina and the required staffing that would take place. I guess I would ask the supervisor what the status of that is at this point in time and what the plans are.
We're basically still in the infant stages, and we've actually made no determination at this time. As soon as something comes out, I'll let everybody know.
Thank you.
Or we start to more talk.
I have to add some concern, Chet, because Linda has said that she feels like the work that she's been doing may soon come to an end, and she has to return to some of her other projects. And I think that the decision to or not to hire an assessor has to be acted on very quickly. And dragging it out is only going to put us again into a situation where we do not have control of what is in the best interests of the town. And that being the option to take some time to select a good person with the correct qualifications to become assessor for this town. And I think I've let you know and other people know that I do not believe that consolidation is the right way to go, because the data in this town is so poor that the best interest of the taxpayers here is for us to have somebody devoted to getting it back in line. If we divide the time between a town that has almost the same, if we divide the assessor's time, the town of Salina has the same parcels numbers approximately as the town of Cicero, and Cicero has about a third greater square mileage, which means that's going to take a good bit of effort for that person to oversee what needs to be done. And waiting is only going to prove to be the disservice of the taxpayers in this town.
Well, thank you, Councilor. I'm glad you added to that because I think that's a more definitive answer than we're just continuing to work on it.
Does anyone else like to address the board?
Yes, I have a question.
Give your name and address, please.
I've been coming to these town board meetings for about a year and a half, and since probably January, we have been hearing, not just here, but in the news about rising fuel prices. And I think that some of the town's costs went up. I could be mistaken on that, but I think some of the things the highway department did, asphalt went up because of petroleum prices. I think maybe rubbish removal, trash pickup. So now, prices are plummeting, and I'm wondering if that's having, I'm seeing you do this. Why, then let me rephrase, why is it not having an effect on a downward effect on downward costs? Thank you.
The people producing the petroleum products aren't going to, I mean, the gasoline prices have come down, but the price of paving isn't coming down at all. And it probably never will.
And the price of diesel fuel has only come down about 75 cents. So your fuel cost for diesel, which most all our vehicles are diesels, has stayed up.
Okay, thank you.
Give your name and address, please.
Jessica Zambrano. I'd like to add my name to the list of people who are in favor of sidewalks in front of the town hall and up and down Route 11. I believe the board passed a resolution to wait, and I think that the board should have acted on the intent to add sidewalks as soon as possible so that it sends a good message to the developers who go before the planning board and say, you know, they can't put in sidewalks because of cost. So I think you're defeating the purpose, you know, of the planning board's efforts to get sidewalks. On the other hand, maybe, you know, the town councilors and the supervisor aren't in favor of sidewalks on Route 11 and Route 31. Can you answer whether you are or not?
I'm not in favor of paying $6,000 for a job that can be done for 5 or 4.
Well, that's
Fiscally responsible, I don't have a problem with sidewalks.
okay. Well, that's the question, whether you
No.
are in favor
I
of the sidewalks.
have a problem with
or not.
paying too much money to have it done to make it look politically correct out in front or for developers. It can be done in the spring with better
I don't
weather
think
for
that was
for a cheaper thing. Developers aren't going to be putting in sidewalks at this time of year.
I realize that.
They're going to do it when it's fiscally responsible to do it.
That wasn't the question. The question was, were you in favor of sidewalks, period?
Right.
And that's what was not passed tonight. It was, you
And
know,
I think
that
even
we'll
then I
wait.
voiced my opinion that I said it was going to be an added expense to try to do it at this point in time.
I agree that
That's
this
the
is,
only reason I said I
I
just wanted
agree
to
that
delay
this is
it.
a poor time to try to put in sidewalks,
Right.
and I wonder why this issue came up this late in the year. Tracy, why did this issue come up this late in the year and not in August?
I think it was more or less coordinating the contractors and coordinating people, that's what it was, and they got back to me that late, and then the state got back to me that late, and that's all it simply was, and before you know it, it was November.
Well, I appreciate your efforts, but I think that we all agree it should have been brought up before the end of November. I don't fault you for that, but, you know, I still think that the concept of putting sidewalks in at some point in time should have been passed so that developers know that the expectation is there and supported by this town board. Thank you.
Does anyone else like to address the board? Heather?
Nothing else this evening, thank you.
Gary?
Nothing else.
Bird?
I just would like to say that December is not the month to take and pour concrete. You gotta use anhydro. If you get some real cold weather, the top is gonna flake off. I am not opposed to having sidewalks, but I would rather wait till spring when we know we're gonna have sidewalks that are gonna last.
Charlotte?
We've been putting off sidewalks for years. I'm in favor of the sidewalks to be there. I agree, maybe there's a better time, but the longer we put it off, making the statement that we think that they should be there, the longer they're not gonna be there, because we have taken no action.
Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving and a safe one.
You too.
Nothing else.
I'll agree with Billy on this, you know, And Vern, good luck on your trip going to Hudson Bay.
I just want to say, I took all the initiative to go and do it and to work into it, and I know it's probably not the best time, but I'm sure in the spring it will be, and everyone have Thanksgiving.
Thank you for the business